This episode of Full Metal Panic Invisible Victory is brought to you by Bandai Namco and the musical stylings of Kenny G. Kenny G. It's like getting a root canal. FMP IV returns for another episode, which is filled with tons of awesome metal mashing, sexual tension, and all sorts of anime goodness. This episode honestly had everything going for it. Action, comedy, tension, and a 1980s styled montage. Seriously though, sign me up anytime there's a montage. They're always really fun to watch, and it's a great way to get a part of the story done really quick. And this episode goes full-on 1980s with it, with a little sprinkling of Kenny G's 90s saxophone just to intensify the drama. And you know what? It's so cheesy in the best way possible. The first half of the episode is all about Sosuke and Nami and their entire team completely souping up their brand new mech. They even give it a nice fresh coat of paint, which makes it look a little bit more like the Arbalest from the past, and even Sosuke himself wants to refer to this as Al the Second, which is pretty awesome. This is followed by a great scene of him fighting against tons of other opponents, and of course respectably kicking their robot asses. But as cool as it is to see robots just smacking the shit out of each other, this episode needed something a little bit more, and it's the beginning of a brand new story where we get to learn why Sosuke is even in this city in the first place. It all begins when him and Lemon go to the market to buy all sorts of cool parts for their mech, when suddenly they are caught by the police. And these are not your typical everyday police. No, wait, never mind, they kind of are. They're assholes. You see, the police actually work for a lot of these other organizations that have teams in this underground robot fighting championship league, whatever you really want to call it, but because of this, they're losing a lot of money. So they rough up Sosuke a little bit, and they basically give him the ultimatum of, look, play along with our rules, we'll rig some matches, you'll lose, we'll still continue to make money, and this way you'll be able to keep your head. Sosuke, of course, takes a beating like a champ, and we actually learn that this was all a part of his plan after all, to get caught and get a little more information, because he knows that these cops are actually connected to another underground robot fighting league where they use real ammo and they fight to the death. And apparently this entire underground fighting ring is actually taken over by Amalgam. They sort of are the puppet masters, and this is just a part of his plan to get closer to them and get even closer back to Kaname. And it is weird to learn in this episode that apparently it has been 3 months since that event, when Kaname decided to go with Leonard, when Tessa and her entire organization made that quick ditch away from the island. I mean, it's amazing to think that it's been this long since those events, but it makes sense. It's not going to happen overnight this time. Things are certainly going to intensify, especially when we learn, of course, that the police chief is also working directly for Kurama himself, the man who can eat a carrot stick and make it look incredibly terrifying. So what's the rundown on this episode of Full Metal Panic Invisible Victory? Finally, we understand what Sosuke is doing in the city in the first place. He's trying to get close to Amalgam, and this is the closest and quickest way to actually get to his result. And it's a great excuse to also see a lot of cool robot fights. It's an arc in the series that I didn't know that I wanted, but I'm glad that it's finally here. Of course, a lot of the tension of this episode comes from the developing relationship of Sosuke and Nami. Do they love each other? Do they like each other? What's the deal here? Are they gonna kiss? I don't think that Sosuke would do anything like that, but I think that Nami certainly wants a piece of that Sosuke Sagara. It's not like a mystery. Everybody that works on the team knows it, and they even try to mess with Sosuke about it a little bit, but because he's so dense, he doesn't actually see any of this whatsoever. He just believes that she loves all of the skills that he has with Mecha. The episode also does a pretty good job of implanting some really weird dramatic moments for some of the characters like Lemon. I'm not sure what his deal is, but something about him still doesn't feel quite right, and it's very obvious that I believe he has some feelings for Nami as well, and he's sort of caught between this little love triangle thing, and it's kind of hard for him to live up to the aspirations of Sosuke, the ultimate chick magnet who pilots giant death machines. Also, I just gotta talk about the music again in this episode. Wow, such amazing choices. So far, I think that the score of the series has been really great, and it's added a lot of tension to some of these scenes, especially Sosuke talking with Nami at the very end of the episode, and of course, I love how every single time the opening guitar chord of the ending comes in right as an episode is about to close, but that Kenny G saxophone music in this episode, man, it felt kind of out of place, but at the same time, as someone who's an absolute nostalgia hound for anything 80s, 90s, I really loved that a lot. It kind of felt like I was watching like an old anime from the early 90s. I don't know what it was about that sound, but I really like it, and it really complemented the scene, which, like I said, is kind of like a 1980s montage. And it was a really fun montage as well. This has been a very surprising arc. I wasn't ready for them to introduce so many characters in a brand new setting at once, but I like it because it is making this such a distinctive season from the others, and it's doing a really great job with it too. I'm always very anxious to see what's going to happen next in this series, as I don't read the light novels, I haven't checked out the manga, I'm just a fan of these cool, kick-ass Japanese cartoon characters. And that's why I'm going to give this episode right here, believe it or not, a 5 out of 5. I have no complaints with this episode. Any one that I would have would be kind of superficial at this point. Is it the perfect anime experience? No, but for what it is, it's really entertaining, and it's a great continuation of a franchise which desperately needed to return, and it's awesome. So check it out, Full Metal Panic fans. I'd love to get your thoughts on the episode. Tell me all of them in the comment section below, what you thought about this episode, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. If you want to have a conversation with me, I'm always down for a great chat with you guys about this awesome material. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.